Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to thank each of you for coming to us voluntarily. We appreciate that. There are undoubtedly benefits to using your platforms. As you have heard everyone mention today, there are also some concerns, which you're also hearing. Privacy, free speech, politics, religion. And I have kind of chuckled as I've sat here listening to you all. That book, Valley of the Gods, it reminds me that you all are kind of in control of what people are going to hear, what they're going to see. And therefore, you have the ability to dictate what is coming in, what information is coming into them. And I think it's important to realize, you know, you're set up as an information source, not as a news media. And so therefore, censoring things that you all think unseemly may be something that is not unseemly to people in other parts of the country. But let me ask each of you very quickly, do any of you have any content moderators who are conservatives? Mr. Dorsey first, yes or no?
But we don't ask political ideology.
Okay, you don't. Okay, Mr. Zuckerberg?
Senator, we don't ask for their ideology, but just statistically, there are 35,000 of them in cities and places all across the country and world. So I would imagine yes.
Mr. Patai?
The answer would be yes, because we hire them, through the United States.
Okay, all right. And looking at some of your censoring, Mr. Dorsey, you all have censored Joe Biden 0 times. You have censored Donald Trump 65 times. So I want to go back to Senator Gardner's questions. You claimed earlier that the Holocaust denial and threats of Jewish genocide by Iran's terrorist Ayatollah don't violate Twitter's so-called rules, and that it's important for world leaders like Iran's terrorist leader to have a platform on Twitter. So let me ask you this, who elected the Ayatollah?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. I think this is called a dictatorship. So are people in Iran allowed to use Twitter, or does the country whose leader you claim deserves a platform ban them from doing so?
Ideally, we would love for the people of Iran to use Twitter.
Yeah, well, Iran bans Twitter, and Mr. Zuckerberg, I know you are aware they ban Facebook also. So, Mr. Dorsey, is Donald Trump a world leader?
Yes.
Okay, so it would be important for world leaders to have access to your platform, correct?
Correct.
And so why do you deny that platform via censorship to the U.S. president?
We haven't censored the U.S. president.
Oh, yes, you have. How many posts from Iran's terrorist Ayatollah have you censored? How many posts from Vladimir Putin have you censored?
We have labeled tweets of world leaders. We have a policy around not taking down the content, but simply adding more context around it.
Okay. And the U.S. president you have censored 65 times. You testified that you're worried about disinformation and election interference. That is something we all worry about. And of course, for about 100 years, foreign sources have been trying to influence U.S. policy and U.S. elections. Now they're onto your platforms. They see this as a way to get access to the American people. So given your refusal to censor or ban foreign dictators while regularly censoring the president, aren't you at this very moment personally responsible for flooding the nation with foreign disinformation?
Just to be clear, we have not censored the president. We have not taken the tweets down that you're referencing. They have more context and a label applied to them. And we do the same for leaders around the world.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Do you share any of your data mining? And this is to each of the three of you. Do you share any of your data mining with the Democrat National Committee?
I'm not sure what you mean by the question, but we have a We have a data platform that we have a number of customers. I'm not sure of the customer list.
Okay, and you said you don't keep list. I made that note. I
Well,
found that to
keep
be a
list
very
of
sensitive-
accounts that we
Yeah.
watch. We don't
Okay.
keep a list of accounts that we watch.
All right. Okay, Mr. Pachai, is Blake Lemoyne, one of your engineers, still working with you?
Senator, I'm familiar with his name as an employee. I'm not sure whether
Okay.
he's currently an employee.
Okay, well, he has had very unkind things to say about me, and I was just wondering if you all had still kept him working there. Also, I want to mention with you, Mr. Pachai, the way you all have censored some things. Google searches for Joe Biden generated approximately 30,000 impressions for Breitbart links. This was on May 1. And after May 5th, both the impressions and the clicks went to 0. I hope that what you all realize from this hearing is that there is a pattern. You may not believe it exists, but there is a pattern of subjective manipulation of the information that is available to people from your platforms. What has driven additional attention to this is the fact that more of a family's functional life is now being conducted online. Because of this, more people are realizing that you are picking winners and losers. You're trying to, Mr. Zuckerberg, years ago, you said Facebook functioned more like a government than a company. And you're beginning to insert yourself into these issues of free speech. Mr. Zuckerberg, with my time that is left, let me ask you this. You mentioned early in your remarks that you saw some things as competing equities. Is the First Amendment a given right, or is that a competing equity?
Expression. I believe strongly in free expression. Sorry if I was on mute there. But I do think that, like all equities, it is balanced against other equities like safety and privacy. And even the people who believe in the strongest possible interpretation of the First Amendment still believe that there should be some limits on speech when it could cause imminent risk of physical harm. The kind of famous example that's used is that you can't shout fire in a crowded theater. So I think that getting those equities and the balance right is the challenge that we face.
The time has expired. Perhaps we can follow.
Well, we believe in the First Amendment, and we are going to, yes, we will have questions to follow up. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.